Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillahi wa ba'd. I've just had a quick look at these questions. MashaAllah, they're all very good, very important questions. I'll try my best to answer them to the best of my ability. If I don't know an answer, I'll just say I don't know. There's a question here. My father's income is haram. I have tried to talk to him about this, but it has no effect on him. Is the food he is buying to the home haram for me? And what about gifts given by him? There's another similar type of question there as well. Similar question about parents' income, and this also relates to the income brought in by the husband in the house. When you live in a house, and the one who's providing, financially supporting the other members of the house, and they bring in the food on the table, and they support financially. If their income is completely, totally, 100% haram through unlawful means, absolutely haram, then as a son, as a daughter, as a wife, it is not permissible to use that money for one's own needs. The children have to actually talk. You don't just say, okay, that's it. Talk to the father, talk to the husband, talk to the person who's bringing in the money. Discuss, look for ways and means. If it means that it's difficult for a short period of time, then just for a short period of time, get a loan or something, and then afterwards tell your father to pay that loan off. Try to come to some sort of compromise. If the case is such that not his job is not 100% haram and lawful, but there are a variety of things he is doing. He is doing some business in the interest banking industry, and he has some other lawful halal business. It's a mixture. If it's a mixture, then it's fine. You just tell your father to make an intention that he's providing from the halal side, and he has to be a good. There has to be a good, percentage, like at least some say at least just over 50%. So 51% halal and 49%. Some scholars said, but he makes that intention. But as long as it's the majority. So if his income is not completely, solely, totally haram, and if there's a mixture, and the mixture is such that the haram is less than the halal, there's more more halal, and then he tells you that he's providing you from the halal, not from the haram, then there's permissibility in there. There's a question about bank accounts here. And there's a few other questions as well, so I'll just explain this in detail. There's 3-4 questions relating to bank accounts. Are bank accounts halal, which generate interest? In the conventional system, we have different types of bank accounts, as you all know. We have a current account, we have savings account, we have fixed term deposit accounts, we have different types of accounts. Now, really, in an ideal situation, in an ideal world, a Muslim should not be having any bank account, really. Okay, because you're generating, even if you're not taking interest, you're generating interest. Your money is being used to generate interest. But, there's a complete agreement amongst the contemporary scholars from all around the world on the fact that a person, in order to live a life, to do anything in this day and age, you have to be part of the system where you need your money to be in a bank account. Now, in terms of the bank accounts, first and foremost, a Muslim should only be opening a non-interest-based bank account, which means a current account, which does not pay you, even though it generates interest. It's still generating interest, but it does not pay you interest. Fixed term deposit accounts, saving accounts, which generate interest and then also give you the interest. That's the only difference. And that's why other scholars are saying that, look, there's no difference. And I actually think this is a very good argument. So you see, this is one opinion which is saying that, look, only current accounts which don't pay you interest. But your money is being used to generate it, but the bank themselves keep it and maybe give it to the defense part of your government or something, and send some troops to Iraq with your money. Do you understand my point, what I'm saying? So some of the scholars, they actually say that, look, there's no difference. It's actually better not to open a current account, open a savings account that generates interest like the current account. The only difference is that in the current account, they keep the interest here, they give it to you, take the interest, but of course you can't use it. And this is normally the ruling, that any unlawful amount of money that comes to a Muslim without the intention of sadaqah reward, you give it away to the extremely poor and needy people, give it to, some of the really destitute poor people. Get rid of this money. You can't benefit from this money in any way, shape or form. It's not. And when you give it to the poor individuals, they become istamlika, they become owners of this. For them, it no longer remains a lawful and filthy haram. But you just give it to the poor, or some scholars have also said, use it for just general, not for mosques and things like that. You can't build mosques with that haram money. But just general public welfare projects in some of your own countries, like some bridges or just some things like that. You can use it, but you can't use it for personal benefit. So this is an interest. This is a savings account that is generating interest. Other scholars say, no, you just cannot open it. Open a current account and don't take the interest. Both are valid opinions. I personally think that in the West, I think we can take the savings account taking the interest. In an Islamic country, don't do that. Because, in a good Islamic country, where your money might not be used in an unlawful way. So if you leave it with them, current account, I don't want the interest, you do whatever you want with that. You may use my money to make the interest. Your money is not being used in a harmful way. But in Western countries, especially if you're living in America or the UK, then I would definitely, rather than them using your money to make interest from your money and then using it in a harmful way, why don't you take the interest and just give it to someone in a non-harmful way? So this is, the basic, some of the fiqh behind bank accounts. Now, also, something else here. In terms of the bank accounts, what happens in a bank account is that the money that is given, you guys all know how a bank works, but what happens in a bank is that you have the two sides. You have the deposit side and you have the asset side of the bank. Yeah? You know how a bank works. All the depositors, all the general public, all of us opening bank accounts, all our money is used by the bank and given to the capitalist businessmen, people who are investing in businesses on interest, on riba. £100,000 loan, £200,000 loans there, and then interest is earned. And from that interest that is earned, a small percentage is given to make us happy, the depositors here, small percentage in your savings account. Large portion is, retained by the bank. And that's the profit of the bank. The percentage of how much interest they're giving to the depositors and how much charging here, that's basically what is their profit. Now, what happens is that the relationship between the depositors and the bank, the money that we as depositors, as account holders and bearers, the money we give to the bank, that is considered to be by the scholars a loan, a qard. You know why it's considered to be a loan? And this is why I'm telling you this is interest. It's considered to be a loan because money is guaranteed. Any money that is guaranteed, if I give you some money and it's guaranteed, if I give you money to just look after, if I say just amana, trust, look after this money for me, I give you £200, can you look, I'm traveling, can you just look after this for me? What's the ruling of amana? Amana is that if you are not guilty, you didn't do anything deliberately, and something happened to that money, a thief came and stole that money, you don't have to pay me. Oh, it was an amana, you don't have to pay me. It was lost. You never did anything deliberately. But a loan is, if I give you £200 loans, I don't care whether you eat that money or whether you drink it or whether you throw it in the toilet or whether someone steals it, I want my £200 back at all costs. That's what you call daman. It's guaranteed. Whenever money is guaranteed, it automatically becomes a loan. It's guaranteed. So when we give we put money in a bank account, our money is guaranteed. The bank has to give our money back. And that's why it's a loan. And when they give us our loan back, they are giving us extra. That's كُلُّ قَرْضٍ جَرَّ نَفْعًا فَهُوَ رِبَى. Any loan that brings benefit to you is riba, is interest. So that's why that's interest. So whether it's a current account, it's a loan. Whether it's a savings account, it's a loan. Whether it's a deposit account, it's a loan. Now, in some of the Islamic banks, what happens is that you have some of the Islamic banks, and I'll talk about Islamic banking as well, one of the questions, is that the current account is just like conventional banks. Exactly the same as normal conventional banks. The current account is qard. You give a loan to the bank, but they don't give you any interest. They don't give you any interest. They might make profits out of your money, whatever, but they don't give you any interest. There's actually, it was written. Now the issue with the savings and deposit accounts, they call them profit accounts. They call them profit accounts. Like we have some banks that, without mentioning any names, I don't like to mention names, but we have some banks in the UK. Savings, it's profit. They tell you they're giving you profit. Now this is a big issue in the UK. An Islamic savings deposit account will be based on something that we call mudaraba. This is a chapter of fiqh. There are hadiths regarding this. Kitab al-mudaraba. It's a very lengthy topic, chapter. I mean, all these issues you can't just learn in a few minutes. I mean, these require lengthy study, and the scholars study this for years and years. Mudaraba is a whole chapter, but basically what mudaraba means, it's also called qirad, it's also called mudaraba, where there's money from one side and expertise from the other, and you participate in the profit. So if I give you money, you go and work, and we say, okay, 50-50 on the profit. So what happens is when you give the money to the bank, you are investing, and then the bank is using your money, their expertise and their know-how and their skills in using your money. It's like an investment. And whatever profit is made, it's agreed ratio profit. Profit between two parties. So it's actually shared profit. But the problem here is that your money cannot be guaranteed. Because in Islam, if your money is guaranteed, it's a loan. If it's investment, then your money is not guaranteed. A lot of Muslims, in my city, this is happening a lot. There's so many people, some people are doing business like this. There's one brother, he's taking from everyone, £200, £200, £200. Don't worry, your £200 is guaranteed. If there's profit, I'll give it to you. But even if there's no profit, your money is guaranteed, don't worry. So many Muslims, like people who are frequently in masjid, and you're looking like Muslims, and they were, in the 5-time offering prayers, and they were all involved in this business. I said, look, this is absolutely haram, this is interest. We don't know it's interest. I said, is your money guaranteed? He goes, yeah, our money is guaranteed. If it wasn't guaranteed, I wouldn't have given it to him. Because what about the profit? Because profit, money cannot be granted. If you want the profit, Islam says you have to take the risk of loss as well. That's the difference between what? Islam, inna ma'al usri yusra. In this world. The difference between nikah and zina. Zina is what? You do your job, see you later. Yeah? They say in English, wham bam, thank you ma'am. Have you heard of that one? Have you heard of that phrase in English? They say wham bam, thank you ma'am. And someone else said that, when they do secret marriages, we'll talk about it in our course, wham bam, thank you imam. Because the imam did the secret marriage of two young people, The difference in zina and nikah is, there's no responsibilities. There are no what? Responsibilities. In nikah, you get the good, you get the benefit, but also there's responsibilities. You have to play the role of a husband, the role of the wife, there's difficulties. Difficulties not in the sense of difficulties, but responsibilities. Between riba and business, that's the difference. Business, أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَى. Allah made business halal, riba haram. Riba is guaranteed profit, like zina. You give your money, I don't care what happens with this. I want my profit back, guaranteed profit. Investment, business,